And then suddenly, in the middle of the night, a sentence came to me, and I rushed downstairs and wrote it on. But at the same time, I was no more. It was just that I woke up in the night and there was no one.
And what did no one write down? What was the sentence?
Oh, no one wrote down. It's on page 4 of the Open Secret. It's one paragraph. But it was the basis of the Open Secret.
Right.
And of course it was a communication that was coming out of no one.
Right.
So the Open Secret, I didn't write the Open Secret. I don't give meetings. There's no one sitting here. This is what's happening.
So that is very hard for someone to grasp, especially someone that hasn't done a lot of seeking in themselves. That they see you, they know you have a name, Tony, and you have a red sweater and a blue shirt, and the guy's saying there's no one there. That's a tough one.
Okay, it's not tough, it's not difficult, it's impossible. As far as the individual is concerned, there's no way that the individual can even conceive, but certainly sense, the idea that there is no individuality, that there's no one, and all there is what's happening. It's impossible. It can't happen because the nature of individuality is to be separate and seek. So it's always moving forward, it's always moving, looking for something. What's next? What's next? Where can I get to? But what hasn't been realised by the individual is that there never was anything lost. The dilemma for the individual is not that the individual can't get what it wants. The dilemma is the individual. Okay. This message is a complete revolution around the other way of the way we normally look at seeking and enlightenment and all those things.
Well, it is, and it's tough. I use the word tough. You use the word impossible, because the more intelligent members of the human race realise something is missing. They realise something's not quite right, and we all go through this. We kind of. I think you did the same. You were quite successful in your business. You make some money. You have a relationship. Maybe some people have children, obviously. And yet, whatever happens, after a time, there's still this feeling, this isn't it. And so some people just try and, they drink a little bit too much or whatever, and they just put it under the carpet. Other people that may be a little bit more, I would say, intelligent, aware, whatever.
Sensitive,
they think, well, this isn't quite right. I'm going to do something about this, because in our society, it is very much a doing society. And it is the ultimate dilemma that they're, in a way, being intelligent, in quotes, and yet it doesn't work.
No, of course it doesn't work, because they're trying to do something and get to somewhere. What the Open Secret is saying is there is nowhere to get to. And of course, more importantly, there is no one to get there. The whole idea that there's such a thing as individual free will and choice is totally exposed as a fallacy. But it's the most difficult message of all in my recent thing on the website. There's nothing for sale. There's nothing for the individual. I would go as far as to say that the individual actually doesn't want this, because the individual fears most its own absence.
But something happens around you, because we've had other people on Conscious TV, and I've also talked to people that haven't been on Conscious TV, they said the same thing. They go to your meetings, and some of them leave and something seems to have really happened. And some even say, well, I went to a meeting with Tony and I never left the meeting.
No.
That's what they say. And I think, well, it's not just one person, it's more than one.
It's happening a great deal. You see, really, I'm sorry, the thing that happens is resonance happens. It's not a conceptual. This message isn't about words or ideas. What happens is something resonates. Something is remembered. And what is remembered is the beingness of childlike wonder. Yes. There's something that it isn't about me getting somewhere. It's about a resonance with something that is.
Yes.
And so what drops away is the idea of me getting somewhere.
So let me just try. You could probably shoot this down. But is it a possibility that something is vibrating in you, something latent is vibrating in someone else, and something kind of gets activated?
Yeah, okay, so it isn't in me. the power of the meetings is that there's no one there in a sense. Therefore, there's no one who's trying to give somebody else a list or has any expectations of it. And also the other powerful thing is that there's no one in the audience that is seen as an individual, because the idea of whole sense of individuality is an illusion.
Yeah.
So there's something very powerful about that.
Yeah.
And the other powerful thing is there's nobody trying to sell anybody anything. And it's amazing the effect that has on people, because the audience, a lot of the audience who are sensitive to this, know that this isn't something that's trying to be sold, or it's not. Nobody's trying to make somebody else believe anything. And what happens is not mind, but what happens is boundlessness.
Boundlessness.
So
is
the contracted energy of individuality, which is totally embodied, it's not just an idea or a thought or a belief. Individuality and separation is a totally embodied feeling of being restricted. And people walk into the room and there's a sense of whom.
Yeah.
But it's nothing to do with me, because I ain't there. It's just that in some way or other there's a resonance with that.
And this womb is something sitting there aware of the womb happening.
No.
It's just you. Way. It's not. It just. No. I have to use these words like you. I have no other way of addressing it. For you, it's just normal somehow. That the womb is
it's
always
there already. In a sense, everything is new. Everything is boundless already. So I can't say, oh, Mary's just popped or something. But it just is what happens. There's huge inspiration in the room. Often you can sense a feeling of wow, and new people that come either walk out and hate it because I'm telling them that they had no free will, or I'm suggesting they haven't.
Yeah.
But a lot of the audience just, wow, it's amazing. It's gorgeous, just gorgeous.
So what's your feeling about the whole Osho thing now?
Oh, as far as I'm concerned, there are two totally different ways of looking at it. There are totally two different communications, really. The classically normal communication is that there is an individual who is separate, and the individual can find what it's looking for, i.e. enlightenment, liberation, or whatever you like, the kingdom of heaven if you want. And that is completely divorced from what is being spoken of out of the open secret. And not only the open secret, there are other people, very few, who are communicating this message, that this revolutionary message, that in fact there is no one, there is no individual, and there's nothing that can be done.
Yeah.
It isn't then saying that you can't do anything, because then it would be implying that there's a you there that can't do anything. Yeah. It is saying there is nothing that can be done. There's nothing that needs to be done, because everything already is whole. But that's largely conceptual. That's words. I mean, some people say, oh, the I is just a thought, or a separation is just a belief, so if you see through it, then it'll vanish. That's talking about the symptom. The thought of being separate is a symptom of being separate. But being separate is a really felt, embodied feeling that makes people long for something else. It's a longing, it's a sense of loss. So it's a very energetic, held feeling. And somewhere, somehow, people come and just explode out of it.